Tell me what the hell are you scared of when in the end the only thing
Where's
that's
the love?
saying
Right here on
love's
this
in the
podcast.
name.
Welcome to Love
Love
Drops,
drops.
where your
Tell us
hosts
the things
and
that
One Love
never been,
ambassadors,
never
Charles
received,
and
never
Diane,
waste.
will
Together
share
long
love,
as
hope,
unity
and
and tasteless
inspirational
sweetness. So it's
topics
like
taken
one
from
of the
their
reasons
journey
to
and
worship.
world
All of
events.
the times
We
you
will
felt
also
like
include on location recordings and special pop up guests from cool places all around the world. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
whether big or small, love never fails. Oh, love it conquers all. Love never fails.
Welcome to another episode of Love Drops Podcast. I am so excited to have my sister in love, Elisse Barnes, here with us today. There are people that we meet in this life that we just connect immediately on a soul level. They come into our life at the perfect time, for the perfect reasons, and you just grow, build, and love right where you start. There are people that you've known all your life, and there's people that you meet and you feel like you've known them all your life. I want to give a shout out to our mutual group in common, the Soul Safari, that is headed up by the amazing Judith Adu. Say it right. Judith Adu. And because of Judith, I was able to meet this amazing soul. And you will see why I say all that I say after this conversation. So we're having the conversation, healing to gratitude, with Elisse Barnes. Elisse, the mic is yours.
Oh, well, good morning, and thank you so much for this invitation, Diane, to talk with you and to just share a conversation about healing to gratitude. It is a real blessing, and Judith is such a great convener of such wonderful people, and so I too was so happy to get to know you and to meet you and to begin this journey of friendship with you. And so you asked me to just sort of introduce myself a little bit. Again, my name is Elisse Wright Barnes. I am a workforce educator for folks like you and me who are 50 and better, teaching them how to pursue encore entrepreneurship, nonprofit leadership, career transitions, job searches. I am also a wordsmith. I love to write and communicate. I am a God mathematician. I call it God math when things don't add up, but they do. And that's God doing his thing. I'm a caregiver for my 85-year-old mom. And I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio, but I am a Washington, D.C. person by choice. And I am a fearless public speaker, encore entrepreneur, and beauty lover. So that's kind of how I walk through my day, trying to be the best me I can be after having to go through my own grief journey, which I am still on because of the loss of my husband of 10 and a half years. And so that his loss and the sort of brutal 2021 when we lost our battle together that we were on for 7 years to cancer. And I have to say the 6 of those years, while busy, weren't bad. We had a wonderful doctor in Ohio who kind of did everything he could to stay one step ahead of it. So we went in and out of clinical trials and stayed one step ahead of it. So Marion, while dealing with the illness, was able to work and be himself and all that. And then things changed significantly in 2021. And that year was, that final year was pretty brutal, and created some wounds that I needed to heal from.
Wow, that's a lot. That's definitely a lot. And knowing your story, I can say that it has not only inspired me, but it has literally changed my life, Elise, because
Mm.
it has given me a perspective and an approach to life to really cherish every single moment. And I do that, but just your story deepened
Mhm.
that. And I believe that just both of us advocating for our husbands, right? That
Yes.
was one of the pulls, right? But then the other pull was what you did on the other side. And that is what we're here to talk about today. Because when I say that you are indeed one of the bravest
Mm.
women that I know, and I'm so blessed to just be on this journey of life with you at such a time as this.
Mhm.
So let's dive into um, what you did to start,
Yes.
right? This healing journey to gratitude, which is not exactly what you thought you were going into it for, but it you discovered it along
Yes.
the way, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how it came about, and then let's talk about it.
Yeah. So over the summer, I spent a month in Europe, and I'd never been to Europe before. It was my first time, and I went alone, and that was, sort of the big thing that people talked about. I was like, "You're going by yourself? You're going by yourself?" And the genesis of that really started with a part of the month was a 10-day cruise. And that 10-day cruise I discovered back in 2019, and said to Marion, this is what we're going to do for our 10th wedding anniversary in 2021. In May of 2021, we're going to do this amazing 10-day cruise that begins in Rome and ends in Barcelona. And I've always been a lover of beautiful architecture. And everyone said, "Oh, you have to see Barcelona. You have to go to Barcelona." And so I said, "Well, this is it. This will be our introduction to Rome, to Europe, and we'll go to Barcelona." And so that was the plan. And then, of course, Marion's illness prevented us from going in May of 2021. He was quite sick by then. And so um, I decided in 2023, after going through probate and all of that, that I was going to go. I was going to go on that cruise, and Marion would be with me in spirit. But I was going. And I you were a recipient of the email that I sent saying this is for closure and discovering new beginnings, and sort of closing the loop and all of that. And what I discovered once I got there, into the stillness of being on my own table with my own thoughts, in hotel rooms by myself, on a cruise ship by myself, being able to sit on the balcony and listen to the waves and see the waves, was that there was a wound that Marion's loss had opened up that I was not aware of because of the busyness
Right.
of caregiving for my mom, who moved in shortly after he passed, who moved in with me from Texas here to Maryland. And all of the probate and all of that I was deeply wounded, and I needed to heal from that. But it took me getting still to recognize that it was there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's what the trip became for me, a opportunity to heal that wound.
Wow. Wow, that's beautiful. And you know how they say that when we don't go for just ourselves and we don't go alone. So
Mm.
even though you were physically alone, you actually had women from all over that were with you on that journey, not physically, because we didn't need to be. You probably wouldn't have gotten to that place of stillness had you had someone with you. So you went alone physically because
Right.
that is what was necessary to get you
Yes.
to that point, right?
Yes.
But you were not alone, I would say, just like spiritually on that journey, and people were checking in.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I say that to say that even against all the naysayers, you weren't going to disappear off the earth because you had check-in points. And if somebody hadn't heard from you, I think we would have all ponied up and we would have been, looking for Elisse. So it was like, yeah, you were surrounded, by your sisters,
Oh, yeah.
is people from all over in love.
Yes.
So yes, please continue.
Yeah, no, I really felt protected, honestly, by the prayers of so many people. I mean, you know, um, I'm so glad that, I didn't sort of hesitate when people were saying, "Oh, you're going by yourself," but I was surrounded by so many the prayers of so many people, that I never felt afraid, not a single day that I was there. It was really, really wonderful. And it was a real opportunity to recognize the gifts that came after the healing. It took the healing for me to get to the gratitude, right? The
Mm-hmm.
gratitude for all the gifts that came from those, 13 years. It was a total of 13 years that we were together with Marion, to recognize the lessons of how to stay healthy as a caregiver. Because I didn't do such a good job with him. I compromised my own health a lot. And so it was like, okay, these are things that you're going to do better the next time around.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when you're a caregiver when I'm as a caregiver for my mom, the things that I'm going to do, the support that I'm going to get,
Mm-hmm.
and the care that I'm going to take care of myself,
Yes.
this time around,
Yes.
that I learned from the first time around.
Yes.
The gift of my career as an entrepreneur, which,
Yes.
I never thought I would become an entrepreneur, but I became an entrepreneur out of necessity because of needing to be with him, going to Ohio sometimes 3 times a month for these clinical trials and things, and discovered that entrepreneurial spirit in me. And now it would be hard for me to go back to a regular job because I love the work that I do. I
Mm-hmm.
love being a contractor. I love being an entrepreneur and choosing who I work with, right?
Right.
And the organizations that I work for.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a real gift, the gift of experiencing a real marriage. I think this is something that I shared in the Soul Safari. I understand now why those vows are the way they are, for better, for worse, for sickness and in health. And
Yes,
I
ma'am.
experienced all of that, for richer, for poor, all of it, right? So that was a gift from God to say, this is I'm going to really give you an opportunity to understand all of it, what
Yes.
all of those vows really mean. And one of the final gifts I got was discovering videos that Marion had made with his phone, which is now my phone, that I didn't know were on his phone as I was retrieving all the photos, almost 400 photos that I took when I was in Europe, discovering his videos and hearing his voice again. after almost 2 years, was an incredible gift. To hear his voice and hear him happy on one of our trips together. So, I'm grateful, just grateful for having had that experience to be able to get to gratitude.
Wow, I want to circle back and just clarify and confirm. So what you're saying is while you were on your journey and you discover the wound, so you are working through the wound. You're now working through this wound that was left, right? By, Marion passing, right? And up until that point, you thought you were handling it well and all was good and you're in good shape. And then when all stopped, it's like, whoa, there's something here, right?
Yes, yes,
There's something here. So in that space, you now are taking pictures, right? And we're still on this cruise. We're
yes,
still on this cruise. And then you discover these videos.
yeah,
So now he is in virtual form, right? With you on this cruise. So like it's like he came, it was like his way of coming through and being with you as you were going, through that healing point. Where were you in the process? Where were you on the cruise, or where were you on the voyage when you made that discovery of
Well,
those videos?
yeah. I actually discovered the videos after I got back.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So I was on the other side. I was back here. So as I said, I spent a month in Europe. So I spent 10 days. No, I spent 5 days in Rome, 10 days on the cruise, and then 10 days in Spain. 5 days in Barcelona and 5 days in Valencia. So when I came back, and
Mhm.
everyone was like, where are the photos? Where, I want to see, I know you took lots of pictures. Like, yeah, I did. And it's funny because I still have not completed the Google photo album because everybody's like, where are they? And
Yeah.
that's going to be my Christmas gift to everyone. So now,
All right.
so
All
you'll
right.
get a link for Christmas, and
All
it'll be
right.
Merry Christmas. Here are the photos from Europe. And Merry Christmas,
All right.
right? So that's going to be my gift. But I they were uploading to Google Photos, and I couldn't find them. And it's because with Marion's phone, everything automatically defaults to his Google account. So his
Mhm.
Google photo account, that's where they were. I was looking for them under my Google address, and they were uploading to his Google
Gotcha.
address. And so once I realized that, I logged on to his, and there they were, but also there are all these others.
Wow.
And as I said, it was sort of that final gift, the recognition of these gifts, because there was a lot of PTSD from that final year. I mean, in 2022, I literally could not remember him any other way except sick. I
Mhm.
could only remember Marion in 2021, even though we met in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the Marion of 2008 and 2013 and 2018, I couldn't find him. I could only remember the sick Marion, and that was really hard. So it took a lot to sort of get to the other side of that, where the other memories started to come back, the happy memories, the times together when we were, trying to make our way down that crazy zigzag street in San Francisco.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
And driving the Pacific Coast Highway, and in a pool in Jamaica, a villa in Jamaica, and all of those wonderful trips together, and our own cruise that we went on shortly before we got married. And there's this wonderful photo of us together at the captain's dinner, and all of those memories I couldn't retrieve in 2022. So that was the journey to get to the other side of all of that. And even once I was able finally to retrieve those memories in 2023, there was still all of the busy work, all of the, okay, it's starting to come back now. And I knew it because I could tell the stories, you know, people, I was like, oh, and Marion was this and that. And it was like, oh yeah, that happened before 2021. That means memory is back. Oh, wow. And, but there was still the busyness. There was still the internal work that had been done, that needed to be done inside of myself.
Right.
And the cruise and the time in Europe, the time away, the being in my own schedule, the walking through parks and ruins and gaudy mansions and houses and going to flamenco shows, and all those things allowed me to sort of tap into and work on healing the places that were really pretty tender and raw from the loss of someone that I thought I was going to be with much longer than I actually was.
Right. Right. Wow. So I just want to circle back a little bit because it was, oh, that was full. That was full of just so much, right? So many emotions. And I, first of all, want to thank you for being so transparent, and thank you for sharing this, because please believe someone listening needs to hear what you are saying. I believe that. And that is why I do this, not to hear my own voice, or not to, just bring on amazing folks like you, but to make a difference, to be that rainbow, right? In someone else's cloud. And that's why we do it, right? So from what you're saying, and please, correct me if I'm missing something here, but you got that healing. You saw the wound and you began to heal that wound in that stillness, in that time away, right? The other thing that I saw, just being an observer, just blessed to be an observer, is I saw you embracing self-love in that moment. And I saw you just being in love with you, being in love with the experience. And I say that because, honey, you were shining, hair was banging, skin was glistening, and just joy that exude, just this joy that exude, a joy that you cannot make, fake, or create, right? It's a vibe, baby. And that all that was happening, right?
Yeah.
So,
One of the things that Judith talked about was how beauty can be healing, and dying can be a really ugly process. My husband was such a beautiful man inside and out. And, I say at the beginning of 2021, he looked 63. And by June, he looked 73. And when he died in November, he looked 93. It was ugly to see what that disease did to him. And to counteract that with all of the beauty, to replace those images with the beautiful images. I mean, some friends who have come over and seen the photos, they were like, you have a real eye. These photos are beautiful. And I said, all I did was point and shoot. I mean, it's all around you. I mean, it is everywhere in Europe. It's just, you could just do a whole book on just doors in France, or doors in Spain, just on any random street, not in mansions, just random streets, beautiful doors.
Yeah.
or windows in pastry shops or shoe stores, or I mean, it's just amazing. And that beauty, being in the midst of all of that beauty,
Right.
was in itself very, very healing. To see that there was such beauty,
Yeah.
going to the markets and going to the beach. I mean, I think I did one of my final videos before I left on my final day. I was at the beach.
Yes, you
And
were.
it was just amazing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean that was part of the journey, as well as, again, replacing those ugly memories with beauty.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because that's all part of God's creation too.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
all part of it.
Ma'am.
The beauty of the ship I was on, it was incredible, incredibly
Yes, it
beautiful.
was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
It was just amazing. It was just an amazing experience. And you asked me about an inspiration that I could share with our listeners, and I thought about it, and what I came up with is that healing may involve taking a risk. It may involve something like going to Europe for the first time by yourself, when everyone is saying with alarm in their voice, are you going by yourself? And you need to listen to that voice that says, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to
Mhm.
do that for myself, not just by
Yeah.
myself, but for myself.
Yeah. You know what? When you were talking, besides getting goosebumps with which someone shared with me, I think last week, they said we call them truth bumps. So I like truth bumps, right? Where you just get those little light bumps right over your skin. And that occurred, but also what occurred for me was I remember in the space that had I was divorced, and it was before Mary and Charles, right? And
Uh-huh.
so in that space, I took a trip. I was nursing in California, and I took a solo trip to outside of Cancun, Mexico, to Playa del Carmen. And
Uh-huh.
I remember everyone saying, "Girl, you're going over there by yourself."
Self.
And I just shut it off because I said, yes, I am going there by myself. And when I tell you now, listening to your story, it kind of reverberated in me that was part of my healing process. I did not see it as such until just listening to you right now,
Mm-hmm.
that in this beautiful all-inclusive hotel by myself that had hammock on the little lanai porch and ocean view, full of massages on the beach, full of dressing up for dinner, full
Yes.
of
Yes.
walking the beach in the morning and in the evening, full of self love, full of beauty, right?
Yes.
All by myself. I even took adventures. I rode horseback on the beach
Yes.
alone. I went snorkeling alone, rode speedboats alone. And here was the irony in it, right? I was by myself. I was in a small group, and everybody was married. They were either celebrating their anniversary, celebrating their honeymoons, celebrating engagements, right? And so they were coupled up, and it was just me. But I was having so much fun because
Yes.
I was dating me, loving me,
Yes.
healing me in that
Yes.
space, and preparing me. One of the things you said in one of our first conversations was allow for the space, clear room and
Yes.
allow for the space. So I
Yes.
was allowing, right, for the space
Yes.
for my Charles. I didn't know at the time it was Charles. I didn't know his name, but I knew I was allowing for the space for my love to come,
Yes.
right? Full
Yes.
circle that thing, right? When we got married, everything was done on our terms. So we eloped. we had a reception months after, but in January around my birthday time, we said, okay, we're going to do like this honeymoon. And where did we go? Went to Cancun, right? But this
Uh-huh.
time we went actually to, Cancun, right? And we stayed, in the city, on the beach, of course. And it was pretty amazing. I never put those dots together even until you just said that. Like I
Mm-hmm.
went
Mm-hmm.
paving,
Mm-hmm.
right? Pre-paving and healing and
Yes.
beauty. And then I went back
Yes.
with my beloved that I was
Yes.
creating the space that I was healing.
Yes. Yes.
So I concur. I say
Yeah.
all that to say I concur, girl. Yeah.
Yes. And part of the beauty, it's interesting when you mentioned dressing up for dinner. Part of the beauty is seeing the beauty in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
When I would dress up to go to dinner on the ship, I'd look in the mirror and I go, yeah, okay, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Part of the healing was the red bikini moments, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, my Helen
Yeah.
Mirren moments, right? Loving myself, saying,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you're beautiful. At 62, you're still beautiful, beautiful enough to wear a red bikini on a beach, to
Come on.
dress up for dinner, and look in the mirror and go, yeah, okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
mm-hmm, okay, that's part of the beauty as well, seeing the beauty in yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's all part of it. That's all part of it.
And then comes gratitude.
Yes,
Then comes gratitude
yes.
because just for those out here listening, see, there's a flip side to it. I can't speak for Elise, but I can speak for me. And there were times when the resources and opportunities weren't there to take that trip to
Mm-hmm.
Cancun. That came after, I became a travel nurse and, just
Mm-hmm.
started, on that career and things. But in times when I was a single mom, with my two kids, living in Georgia, I couldn't take that vacation. But what I could do is I could take a walk
Mm-hmm.
around the lake at the park. What I
Mm-hmm.
could do is while my kids were in school, I could take a nice bubble bath with incense and candles and have a delicious dessert. What I could do is cozy up with a really good book by the fireplace and
Yes.
just take that time for me. So even though, we are grateful to be
Yes.
able to have, beautiful experiences,
Yeah.
and they are possible.
Yeah.
I don't care what your circumstances are and where you are in life, they are possible because all things are possible,
Oh
right?
yes. Oh
Create
yes.
the space for it, and they are possible. I promise you, they are possible. But where you are right now,
Mm-hmm.
listening to our voices, if you will just open up to gratitude,
Yes.
just be grateful
Yes.
here, right
Yes.
now, where you are at. And that's where the magic happens.
Absolutely. I mean, again, you just opened something up for me. A thought. The townhouse that I live in, Marion and I bought together. It was our house together. And the day after we moved in, I fell and broke my ankle in 3 places. And the day after that, Marion told me he had been diagnosed with leukemia. And so I had a very difficult start in this house. In fact, I say if I could have sold the house then, I would have, because I displaced a lot of my anger about what was happening to us onto the house. And I really hated this house. I thought there was an evil spirit in this house that was trying to kill us. And since my trip, I have taken pictures of like closets in this house, the laundry room in this house, because or out the window, like there's a beautiful tree outside of the windows, um, on either side of this house. And I am literally seeing beauty in this house. The person who takes care of the yard work always sends a picture after he's finished. And it was such a beautiful picture of the trees and the door and the wreath on the door. And I'm like, this is a great house. I'm seeing beauty where I never saw it before because of the healing that occurred on that trip and the beauty that I saw. It just sort of changed my perspective so that I can see it now, right? That I can see, and create. I mean, my closet is amazing now. I mean, I went one night, I just started putting stuff around and I'm like, oh, I love this closet, right? And my laundry closet. I'm like, let me move this and put a plant in there and a picture and all this. It just sort of, and I thought, and this is a house I hated.
Right.
But I don't anymore. There's no need for that anymore. I'm grateful.
Yes.
To just be in this house. And to see and to recognize, as you were saying, we can't all go to Europe, but you can create beautiful spaces where you are.
Yes.
You can create beautiful spaces where you are. You can, I can look in a mirror here and go, yeah, okay, all right. I don't have to be on a cruise ship to look at myself in the mirror and go, okay, that's 62 and it looks okay.
I see you, girl.
I see you. All right. Okay. That's all right. So, it does, you can find the beauty, you can find the healing, you can find the gratitude wherever you are. You do not have to be in Rome or Barcelona or Valencia. There are beautiful places. That's true. But there's also beauty all around you. Like I said, I taking pictures out the window of these beautiful fall leaves. There's beauty in that too, so I'm here for all of it now. I'm here for all of it.
I love it. I love that. And as we're circling out, right? I like the part where you said you discovered the wound is healing, you're healing to gratitude, and it's still in progress. And as long as you know that for the rest of your life here on this earth, it will be in progress, because that is something that happened. It will be in progress at deeper levels and intensities, right? But it'll be there. It's not something, grief is not something that just goes away. Grief is something that will pop its ugly head up in the most unexpected times. Like, you can feel like, yeah, I'm all good, and yep, did that, and then all of a sudden, you're crying. It's like, what are you crying? Because it comes back. Let it come, let it be, let it go. Every single time. Just do that, and you'll be good, right? Well, at least you'll get to good, because sometimes, you just have to get to good. But the thing that you said that also inspired and was encouraging for me is when you came back from that cruise, and when you came back on, from that space of gratitude, you began to simplify.
Yes.
So you started it before, but you cranked it up. you cranked it up, you're gonna laugh and make you laugh. You're like, yeah, girl. Instead of 3,000 pair of shoes, girl, I'm taking it down to 300. Holla, no.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, there was a big donation to, the thrift store of a whole lot of stuff. Because again, creating that space for something new to come into my life, for something new to come into my closet, for something, there's an empty dresser drawer, there's an empty nightstand drawer, there is a empty shelf in the closet to make space for what new things can come into my life on this part of the journey, right? So like I said, I'm here for all of it, so. Yeah. I used to collect vintage clothes. Maybe I'll have another collection come into my life where I'm collecting something else. I don't know, but there's space for it now. Whatever that is, right? Whatever it is,
But it's good. it's good. We're creating it to be good, and just embracing the joy of your home and being grateful, right?
Yes.
Expressing gratitude for
Yes.
that space, knowing that it's so many that do not even have that
Hmm.
space, right? So there's a gratitude and appreciation. And as you shift into your healing, you get to heal the relationship with the home. And as you love your home will love you and will just allow for beautiful memories. They're not done. They're not done, right? It's not over,
Right.
right?
Right.
It's not over. It's not over. You just begin again from where you are.
Right.
And the life that you've described to me, right? Of you and Marion, right? Just in the whole scheme of it, right? So not because marriage is a choice where we choose each other every single day, and every single day is not going to be ice cream and cookies, right? But it's okay because, like you said earlier, you had the experience and full
Oh, yes.
you had that full, and I did too, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
that through sickness and in health, riches and wealth
Poor.
and poor, right?
Better and worse.
Better or for worse, you better holler at your girl. And I'll tell you this, as you were describing Marion, Charles, people look at Charles, oh, wow, you look good. We just celebrated his 80th, right, in August. And yes, he does. He looks phenomenal. But baby, there was a time when he was sick and he did not, mm,
Yeah.
he did not, he did not. He just, if I looked at him, then I probably if I looked at him where he was, right, and allowed that to come in my spirit, right,
Hmm.
then maybe I would have done what the doctors and medical professionals were saying. You need to go get an urn, and you need to go ahead and make funeral arrangements, because he did look like he was right there. But I believed, and I advocated for what I knew to be right,
Hmm.
just like
Hmm.
you advocated and so many others have advocated. But yeah, that life, when they're at that point, that life, that vibrancy and thing is not there. I thank God that it's back,
Hmm.
but also I appreciate it and don't take it for granted, and just know that blink of an eye,
That's right.
in the blink of an eye, right? It can switch,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that creates an appreciation, that creates gratitude, that creates that space to heal. And at least I am still healing too. So maybe that healing soul spirit, that healing that's happening in me, connected with that healing that is
Hmm.
happening with you, because we're never alone. And God will bring us what we need.
Yes. Yes,
And
he
even in
does.
saying that, you were prepared to be in that home. You were prepared to fare it alone. Well, girl, you didn't have to, because your mama came. There's nothing like a mama, I tell you. Mama will, whew, mama will come, right?
Yes.
Even if it's not your biological mama, that mama spirit, right?
Yes.
Mama will
Yes.
come for you if you allow it, right? And so, I commend you in all that you are doing. The fact that you get up out of the bed every morning, get dressed, and say, let's go. You continue to do life, right?
Yeah.
You made the choice to live, and you're creating the space for it. And I'm so excited to see what comes in that. Ooh, girl, I'm so excited to see what fills those spaces, knowing that
Hmm.
whatever fills it, you're going to continue to create space. So even when those spaces are filled, knowing you will create more space, because that's how we grow. That's how we expand.
That's
That's how
right.
we flow, girl.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I'm here for all of it. I'm here for all of it. I'm grateful, so grateful for the experiences that, the universe and God are bringing to me next in this next chapter.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
book isn't finished, right?
Right.
It's just
Exactly.
next chapter. So
Next chapter.
like I said, I'm excited to see what it's going to be because I don't know,
Right.
but I'm here and grateful for whatever comes next.
I am as well. And I am allowing the space in my 58th year that's coming up. It's just it's big things, and it's going from virtual to personal, right? It's going from virtual to personal. So there's a list of people that, I need to sit in real life with. Oh, trust, you're on that list, and we won't do it from either one of our homes. We're going to meet somewhere beautiful, right?
Yes. Yes.
And we're going to do life. We're going
Yes.
to take pictures, and we're going to record a podcast. We're going to record an episode, just in real life, right? And so I'm creating this space for it, and in doing that, that's all I have to do. I don't have to figure out the how, when, where, why. No, all I need to do is just create that space. And so bam, there it is.
There it
So
is.
it's to be continued.
All right. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
So
All
any
right.
words, any parting words for our listeners, at least?
Oh, well, you had asked me to provide if listeners would like to connect with me, I do have a website. They can go there. It's www.drElisseBarnesJDPhD.com. So DR for doctor. Elisse, I spell Elisse with two S's, Elisse, Barnes, Barnes, jdphd.com. They can also reach out to me on LinkedIn. That is my social media platform of choice. So you can find me there, Dr. Elisse Barnes. I'm happy to connect with them on their journey as well.
Yeah, I like how you slid those credentials in. You better go, girl. And that is something else that I love about you, because you can and have stood on your own. So see that part. But even in that strength and that strong woman persona, we're still women. We still have feelings, and we still go through just like anybody else. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. That is so non-refundable. I appreciate your love, your support. Um, I appreciate your yes. And so until next time, because it's definitely to be continued. We have so many other conversations that we need to have here in this space. Because again, I believe that there is someone who needs to hear what we have to say. So until next time, I will end it here with one love.
Never a second will I waste, never an opportunity to taste the sweetness of this life.
Thank you for tuning in to the Love Drops podcast. Be sure to follow this podcast and share the love with everyone you know. Until next time, this is Charles and Diane signing off. One love.